Hey everyone, welcome to the Wilson Homestead. This video is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. I'm in the kitchen today and I'm going to share a recipe with you. The recipe that we're doing today is called Lazy Cobbler, and I'm going to be using some of my home can pie filling. Now this is apple pie filling, but you can use any kind of pie filling that you want for this recipe. It'll be good no matter what you use, and it's a really easy recipe to make. It doesn't have very many ingredients. It comes together real quickly. The longest part to this recipe is the baking, because it can take like 45 minutes to an hour to bake. But it is a crowd pleaser. This is one of, like, I'm always in charge of dessert on our Saturday dinners. We always get together at my grandma's house and I bring the dessert, and someone brings sides, and my mom usually makes the entree, but dessert is up to me. So I like to pick something that is really simple, really easy, really tasty. So let's get to it. I have a 9 by 13 baking dish right here, and I chose one that has a lid so I can just snap the lid on this thing whenever it's cool so it can be transported easily. But we're going to take 1 stick of butter, and I use salted butter for this because I feel like every sweet recipe that you make needs to have salt in it, so that way it's balanced. And what we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven to 350, and while it's preheating, we're going to just lay this in the oven and let this butter melt into this dish while the oven's preheating. You're going to want to keep an eye on this to make sure that this doesn't burn while you're mixing up the batter. Now we're going to start on the batter. We need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar. Now this is a half cup measurement, so I need 4 of these. Two teaspoons of baking powder. And the recipe calls for a pinch of salt, but I always put a little extra in. I'm going to say that's about a half a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to whisk these dry ingredients all together here. Now we are going to add 2 cups of milk. I'm using 2%. You can use whatever you have. I don't think it'll make that big of a difference. I'm not going to mix this a whole lot, but just enough until everything is nice and combined. I'm making a mess. I'm just going to stir this batter around in here until there isn't a whole bunch of lumps in it. We're preheated to 250 now, so I'm going to check in here and see how this butter is doing. You can see it started to melt, but we're not quite there yet, so we're going to give that a few more minutes. Keep a close eye on it. We're at 350 now, so I'm going to take another look at our butter. Almost there, but not quite. It's been a couple more minutes, and this butter is ready to go. It has browned a tiny bit, but that won't hurt anything. So we're going to take this back out of the oven, and I'm going to let it cool down just for a couple minutes before I put that cool batter in here, because I don't want this glass pan to break. Now we're going to take our batter and dump it in here. I just kind of try to dump in the middle, and then that way the butter comes up all around the edges, that melted butter. It smells so good. It got a little tiny bit browned in the oven, and a little bit of brown butter never hurt anybody. Now the last step before baking is we're going to open up our apple pie filling, and we're just going to spoon this over the top. I'm going to try to get it evenly distributed all over the top of this cobbler. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you could do a sprinkling of cinnamon on top, but I already have cinnamon in my pie filling recipe, so I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to get this thing put into the oven for, I'm going to say for my oven, it's probably going to be closer to an hour. Now, with your oven, you might want to start checking this at 45 minutes. Every oven is different, but mine tends to bake a little bit slower, so I'm going to go, I'll probably set my timer for about 50 minutes and look in on it, but I'm sure it'll take closer to an hour. That's what it usually takes for me. It's been about an hour, and this is done now. Golden brown and delicious. Look at that. I've let this cool down a bit. It's still a little warm, and this is best when it's warm, and if you serve it with vanilla ice cream, that's when it's the best. But I'm not going to get the vanilla ice cream out tonight, but I just want to show you what this looks like. Look at that deliciousness. All right, let's put it here on the fine china. It's so good. You can taste the butter in it. It has a sweetness, but it also has like that butter taste. It's so delicious. If you try out this recipe, let me know in the comments below what you think of it. I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time here on the Wilson Homestead. Bye, guys. You could use apple, you could use peach, you could use Cairo, really. Oh my God. She's over there crunching her food so loudly. That is my easy, simple recipe for lazy cobbler. I'm salivating right now from eating some of it. Gotta get that sucked back in.